The War of Israel, the Battle of Jericho, a story of faith and victory. In the Bible, the history of Israel is filled with moments of intense conflict, divine intervention, and miraculous victories. Among the most powerful war stories is the Battle of Jericho, a remarkable event that reveals how faith, obedience, and God's power can conquer even the most fortified enemies. This story is found in the book of Joshua, chapters 5-6, and is a cornerstone of how Israel began to take possession of the promised land. A new leader, a new mission. After the death of Moses, Joshua was appointed by God as the new leader of the Israelites. His mission was clear: lead the people across the Jordan River into the land of Canaan, the land that God had promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Their first challenge? Jericho, a walled city with powerful defenses and trained soldiers. From a military perspective, Jericho was nearly impossible to conquer. But God's strategy was not based on human strength. It was based on divine power and faith. God's strange instructions. God spoke to Joshua and gave him a unique and unexpected command. March around the city once with all the armed men. Do this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of ram's horns in front of the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times with the priests blowing the trumpets. When you hear them sound a long blast, have all the people give a loud shout. Then the wall of the city will collapse and the people will go up, every man straight in. Joshua 6:3-5. There were no catapults, no ladders, no battering rams. Just priests, trumpets, the Ark of the Covenant, and the obedience of a faithful nation. 6 days of silence. For 6 days, the Israelites did exactly as God commanded. Each day, they marched once around the city of Jericho, with the Ark of the Covenant carried by the priests and trumpets being blown, but the people remained completely silent. No one said a word. The city's defenders likely mocked them, wondering what kind of strange army this was. But the Israelites did not rely on intimidation. They relied on trusting God's plan. The 7th day, shout of victory. On the 7th day, everything changed. The Israelites marched around the city 7 times, and at the end, the priests blew their trumpets loudly. Then Joshua gave the signal, and the people shouted with all their might in praise of God. At that very moment, the walls of Jericho collapsed, not due to explosives or swords, but by the power of divine intervention. The Israelites charged straight into the city and claimed victory over their enemies. Rahab, a light within the enemy. Amid the destruction of Jericho, one family was spared, the family of Rahab, a woman who had previously hidden Israelite spies and protected them from the king of Jericho. She had believed in the God of Israel and acted in faith. Because of her faith, she and her family were rescued, and Rahab later became part of the lineage of Jesus Christ himself, Matthew 1:5, showing how God's mercy extends to all who believe, regardless of background. Key lessons from the Battle of Jericho. The story of Jericho is more than a military victory. It's a deep spiritual lesson. Here are some powerful truths revealed through this biblical war. 1. Victory comes through obedience. The Israelites didn't win the battle by their own plans or ideas. They obeyed God fully, even when the instructions seemed strange. Their victory came not by power or might, but by the Spirit of the Lord, Zechariah 4:6. 2. Faith requires action. Walking around the city for 7 days may have felt pointless, but the Israelites showed that faith means doing what God says, even when you don't understand it. Their actions were a demonstration of trust. 3. God fights for his people. The falling walls of Jericho show that God is the true warrior. When he is on your side, no wall, no enemy, and no obstacle can stand in the way. 4. God's mercy is available to all. Rahab's story proves that no one is too far from God's grace. She believed, acted in faith, and was saved, even as the rest of the city fell. Other wars in Israel's history. The Bible contains many other stories where Israel won or lost battles based on their relationship with God. Gideon's 300 men, Judges 6:7. God reduced Gideon's army from 32,000 to 300, so everyone would know that the victory over the Midianites came from him alone. David and Goliath, 1 Samuel 17. A young shepherd defeated a giant warrior with a sling and a stone, not by strength, but through faith in the living God. Hezekiah and the Assyrian army, 2 Kings 19. When surrounded by 185,000 enemy soldiers, King Hezekiah prayed. That night, an angel of the Lord struck down the Assyrian army. Each of these battles reveals the same truth. God delivers those who trust in him. Final reflection, a spiritual war. Today we may not fight physical battles like ancient Israel, but we all face spiritual wars against fear, doubt, sin, and temptation. The message of Jericho is still relevant. If we obey God, trust him fully, and praise him even when things don't make sense, then the walls in our lives, those impossible problems, will fall. Conclusion. The Battle of Jericho is not just a story of an ancient war. It is a timeless reminder that with God, all things are possible, Matthew 19:26. No matter how high the walls or how strong the enemy, if we walk in obedience and faith, God will bring victory in his perfect way. Let us live with the same courage and trust that the Israelites showed, knowing that God is still the same today as he was then, a mighty warrior, a faithful defender, and a God of victory. God bless you.